Good morning, Evergreen Online. This continues to be a difficult time for this church family. As our congregation recovers from the tragic death of Nick Song, we found it hard to continue our planned sermon series as if nothing had happened. Instead, we're taking a few weeks to pause, to breathe, and to recalibrate. I know it's difficult to grieve apart from one another in the pandemic. It helps just to be together in the same worship space. We know that especially as we grieve, there is a longing to do so in community. And while we look forward to our re-entry back into the Rosemead Sanctuary in the near future, this week the staff wanted to invite you into our own personal worship spaces. Our goal is that we can feel a little more connected as we host you in what has been our individual pandemic sanctuaries for the past year, and to share with you a prayerful hope as we look forward to re-entry together. So come on in, Evergreen, and make yourself at home.
Shaking up the earth and skies, revival. Spirit, break out over all our homes. Break our walls down. Open up our hearts and our souls. Spirit, break out. Oh, heaven, come down. Let this be our prayer over all the earth. Spirit, break out. Spirit, break out. Break our walls down. Spirit, break out. Heaven, come down.
Good morning, Evergreen family. Welcome to the Woo's household. Glad that we can give you a chance to see how we've been experiencing rest here at our home. So welcome. Welcome inside. The family is busy in their individual rooms in class, but let me take you inside to our great room where we hang out, relax, and as you can see, I'm ready for lunch. Spicy ramen. One of the very special places of rest that I have enjoyed these past 15 months is our backyard. There's our garden where we're growing some kale, some tomatoes, sweet peppers, the end of the season of pea pods, but also to be able to enjoy the view of the backyard, the flowers. And then during the daytime, I'll oftentimes find myself here on that table, having my meetings, catching up on email, and just enjoying being outside. One of the ways that I have been experiencing rest is to enjoy God's creation. Oftentimes I'll pull a chair, just sit outside, early morning or late afternoon. Enjoy listening to the birds, the quiet of the day, experiencing God's peace here.
Hi, come on in. I'm Pastor Shirley, and I'd like to welcome you to the Lou residence. I'd like to show you where Virgil and I have been worshiping for the last year and a half. This is our living room. When we first bought the house, we had decided that we would dedicate the house to hosting many Bible study groups. And actually we did for a good 25 years. And it's been a blessing for us to do that. Come on over to this corner here. I'm sure this little corner looks familiar. And this is the corner where I film a lot of the spiritual formation segments that are sometimes included in the worship time. And I like the space, partly because of the fake tree and the paintings. I think lends itself to a really nice visual background for the segments that I film. This is also the space that you'll see when I share the word with you. And it's been fun being in this corner. Let's go upstairs and let me show you my workspace. Virgil and I are now empty nesters. And when the pandemic hit, we converted one of the bedrooms, or half of the bedroom, to my workspace. And the other half of the bedroom is still a bedroom because my daughters, who live in San Francisco, when they come visit, need a place to stay. Then I want to welcome you to my workspace. This is what doubles as my office and worship space. On a Sunday morning, you will see me here from 8:30 to close to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So let me give you the schedule on a Sunday morning. It's from 8:30 to 9:30. I host the children's worship. From 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock is when I sit here and watch the service. It's been a sacred space. I can close the door because Virgil will always sing, and sometimes I can hear him, and that's okay. But this is where I do my worship from 10 to 11. And then after service, we have lots of ministry meetings. So sometimes I will be hosting the CBS Caregivers Ministry. It could be the Parent Connection Group. It could be the Women's Gathering. It also is where I sit and watch, I shouldn't say watch, participate in the QCM, our quarterly business meetings. So this is where I am on Sunday mornings. This is my workspace during the week. Let's go on back downstairs. So this little place, this little room has become a sanctuary for me during the pandemic. It's a place where I can shut the door and not be distracted by anything else that's going outside of this room, especially when Virgil is rumbling around the house and listening to something that on TV that could be, I mean, he's got the volume way up and I think he's kind of deaf, but anyway, it's where I can shut the door and it's become a quiet place. It's also a place where I can do my work, listen to worship songs as I am answering emails and holding ministry meetings. It's also a place where when I take my break, I can watch my K-dramas and C-dramas on YouTube. Now, remember, it's a break, a 40-minute break, actually. So I hope when we get back together on campus, when we worship together, that we will be able to hug each other. And it'll be so exciting to be able to see each other and to hear your voices as you sing. I'm most excited about seeing the kids. I want to see how much they've grown. It's really hard to see how much they've grown over the Zoom lens. So it'll be so much fun for me to be able to see the kids, to see their excitement and be able to give them a hug too. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity to share with you my home and my worship space.
No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be than here in your love, here in your love. Let's sing that again. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. They're here in your love, here in your love. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be. They're here in your love, here in your love. Come set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Come set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. Come set a fire down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. I want more of you, God. I want more of you, God. I want more of
Hi, EBCLA. Welcome. Pastor Ryan here, and welcome to Saki's Carport, my sacred worship space. As many of you are probably tired of me saying, I'm a huge fan of rock climbing, and so when the gyms were closed, I gathered the help of a couple friends, and we built a small training wall for me to keep in my carport. You can see me moving Saki's car and setting up the wall. You'll notice me slowly warming up, and at some point you might notice me doing a repetitive movement. I'm attempting to train for a similar movement for a climb that I'm trying to do at the indoor gym. So enjoy some clips of me climbing while I reflect. I found rock climbing in my grieving process about 6 months after my mom had died. I noticed that my grief brain had left me feeling dazed and foggy, and often feeling like my mind, my emotions, and my body were all at different places. Rock climbing requires your complete presence, and there's the problem of how am I going to get to the top, and although there's an attendance solution, there's always creative ways to figure out what works best for me. This is what happens every time I notice myself grieving. There may be others that have their way of grieving or getting to the top, but there might be a different way that's unique for me, and I have to figure that out for myself. So along the way, it doesn't always go as planned, and I have to rethink and figure out what's going to be the path for me. Rock climbing continues to help me refocus myself when I feel like I have tons of things on my mind that bring out all types of different emotions. Rock climbing is a place that grounded me, or that continues to ground me. It forces me to be present with my emotions, thoughts, and my body. The most unlikely place, a carport, is my oasis, a place for me to get away, to be by myself and with God. It's a place where I can reconnect with God when I'm able to ground myself. And I feel like God teaches me lessons through climbing, like being okay with making mistakes and failure, as rock climbing is a lot of falling and failing. And it reminds me that worship is a full embodied experience. My hope for us, even in the unexpected places, to be able to find and create sacred places. I hope that as we begin to re-enter, that God can continue to teach and surprise us. That a familiar place such as the sanctuary provide new opportunities for God's movement. Thanks for joining me in my sacred space. So glad to host you today.
Hello, I've been expecting you. Come on into my humble abode here in Monterey Park. Actually, Pastor Jason lives pretty much right up a hill or something. Anyway, this is my new bicycle. I just got it for my mental, physical health, wellness post-COVID. My very cluttered bookshelf and interesting array of art. I'm barely keeping that plant alive. This is my living room space that you've already seen. I preach from here. I track music from here. I rest in here. My two cats, Macchiato and Earl Grey's cat condo. And here's my balcony that I'm still kind of working on. This is actually a table that my friend custom built. I asked him for this, and I've actually, during the pandemic, hosted a few pretty sizzling, delicious Korean barbecue nights. Can't wait to invite you over. My kitchen, my kind of crazy, again, messy spice rack. I'm actually a pretty decent cook, ask me today, if you don't believe me. It's my hanging plant. Again, I'm desperate to keep it alive. This, of course, is a bathroom. You know what happens in there. My bedroom, which is very messy. My parents would be ashamed if I opened the door, so I won't. And then this is my office space where a lot of the magic happens. And so this is the piano that you see my partner in crime, Mide, often worshiping on. And this is my desk where I get a ton of the services produced and edited. This desk, by the way, was a birthday gift from a bunch of my friends. Thank you, I love you. And also my best friends throughout the pandemic. All my recording material, my new baby guitar. She's kind of like the love of my life, but you know, don't tell anybody. All right, go on in, back to the living room. Let's have a conversation. So,
Maybe some of y'all don't know, but at the beginning of the pandemic, I was actually kind of living out of different spaces. The place that I was in South Pasadena didn't work out. And so for a little bit, I was feeling very, very rootless. And also during this time, as the pandemic was happening, I was trying to still get to know the Evergreen community. And so for me to have found this permanent space called home, it felt really emphatic. It truly felt like a beginning of a new season, regardless of the fact that it was during a major global pandemic. And so the space to me has been truly a sanctuary. It's also been a space where I've forged brand new friendships. Shout out to my Owl City squad, right? Natalie, Eric, you guys have been a formidable team for me. Of course, it's always been a space of worship. Media and I have truly spent hours here just really planning, designing the services. And for me, I don't know, I want to say it's a place where I found another layer of my own identity, just trying to figure out where I stood with my theology on LGBTQIA issues, trying to figure out in what ways we can redefine, reconstruct worship in general, away from one another but still together, and also a place where I've hosted so many meetings, right, for Fuller Chapel. So many different ways I feel like I've grown during this past year in my own little sanctuary. My hope for Evergreen as we head back into the four walls of our campus, I pray that we could all bring a little bit of our individual homes together. That in whatever ways we've hosted our own selves or our pandemic squad or pod of 4 to 6 people or our immediate families, I pray that we could bring the same sense of familiarity, of comfort, of just this authentic self back into our sanctuary, so that when we worship together, it'll truly feel like we're rebuilding an intimate and safe place for all different kinds of people to worship together. So I'm really looking forward to it. Again, I'm more than down to host y'all here. So if you ever need a space to either sit out on the balcony, to have some hot pot with me, or just to maybe grab a beverage and talk about life, I'm more than willing to host you here. So thanks for visiting me today, and thanks for spending time with me in my messy, cluttered artist space.
This is our home. Come on in, Evergreen. So during the pandemic, both Farah and myself worked from home, so our house has become kind of the office space for both Evergreen and for Fuller Seminary during this time. We typically join our Sunday services here in the family room. We watch the services on our television while I'm on my computer chatting with anybody who comes into the YouTube space, and hopefully making that online experience a little more warm and comfortable. We sit on the couches during service, and there are plenty of toys here because our daughters sometimes find it boring when Daddy's talking too much. Over here is our dining room table where the girls typically will join children's church in the morning while eating their breakfast. That's something that's going to stop once we go back to in-person gathering. Out here in our sunroom is my office space, and so this is where I do a lot of the work during the week, over there on my computer. But it's also the space, as you may have noticed, where I record and join a lot of our Zoom gatherings, so our communion services, Good Friday, a lot of those occasional services that we broadcast from Zoom. And so this has really become a multi-purpose area for us. It's been an area of work, an area of worship, and also it's still sort of the girls' playroom. You can see some of the toys scattered about on the floor. Outside is where I have been recording pretty much most of the sermons for Sunday morning worship. And there's something about being outdoors, I think, that is really helpful for me as I preach during the week. Maybe it helps me to feel a little bit closer to God and a little bit more close to you. Maybe there's just a sense that you can hear me as I preach. I know our neighbors can. But my hope as we look toward re-entry, aside from the hope that nobody gets COVID when we come back, is that we don't forget about this time of separation and difficulty. I think God has shown us how much we took for granted before the pandemic. and we took for granted just the blessing of each other's presence. All of our differences, we recognize now that a lot of those things don't really matter as much as we thought they did. God has brought us together as a church family, and that's one of the most valuable gifts that we have as a church. And I can't wait to experience that gift with all of you someday soon. God bless Evergreen. Thanks for coming.
Love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days have been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I've known you as a parent. I've known you as a friend. Oh, I have lived in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing.
You are good, you're good. Oh, 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 you are good, you're good. Oh,
of God. I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna and all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. Oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God.
I hope you've enjoyed this little peek into our team's inner sanctuaries, and that in this time, even as many of us are grieving, you feel a little more connected to us. We also recognize that there is no substitute for the real thing, for actually being together. And so as our staff works to get the campus ready to welcome the congregation back, we know that some of us really need to see each other right now. And so next week, Sunday, on Memorial Day weekend, we want to invite you for what we're calling Rest in the Park. There will be no regular online service. Instead, for those who are comfortable being outdoors together, we will be hosting a space at Arcadia Park from 10 a.m. to noon. It will be extremely casual. No program, no food, nothing except us. So stop by for 15 minutes or stay for the entire 2 hours. It's just a chance for us to safely be together in a time when we're mourning as a congregation. There will be some COVID safety precautions, so check your weekly email or our website for more information as the day approaches. And if you don't feel comfortable gathering outdoors with the congregation at this point, that's okay. But I would encourage you to connect with someone next week. Perhaps visit someone in your family that's vaccinated, or even call a friend that you trust and can talk to. It's important that we are not grieving alone at this time. Now receive the blessing of the benediction. As we have invited all of you into our personal worship spaces, may you invite the Spirit of God into yours this week and be blessed by the strength and the comfort of her presence. God bless you. We'll see you soon, Evergreen.